Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Mad Dex with Hussain Abbas. So far we have discussed about the synopsis writing, and now today we are learn about how to write the synopsis and what are the components of synopsis writing. Okay, so that is we have already learned about that one. Now the components of synopsis writing. So there are I divided into 10 components of synopsis writing, and we will discuss about them in individually as well. And we will also show, like, I will also give you the sample of synopsis writing, that how to write a synopsis actually and make it approved. Okay, so the number one would be title. So the research title is the number one, but it is suggested that you have to formulate the research title in the last. Okay, so it might be clear and concise and convey what you are trying to say. Okay, your objective and research title would be aligned. So that there would be three words for the research title, that they are clear, concise, and the title must be convincing to the author, convincing to the editor and to the reviewer as well. Okay, to the journal population as well. The second thing, which is that from which is starts from the synopsis writing, is the introduction. So introduction is inverted triangle, in which you are making the journal things. Like here we are taking the example of tinnitus and insomnia study. So you are basically telling about what is tinnitus, any international or standard definition like WHO definition, what is insomnia, what is depression, what is anxiety, what are the students population you are selecting, and then you go to the narrow, and then you are going trying to narrow it down. Okay, then you are making like umbrella, that prevalence of tinnitus in the medical students or students as well, in different settings. You are telling the US data, Canada data, and then Europe data, and then coming to the Asian populations, and then more specific to your country like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal. Okay, so you have to talk from general to specific, and after that you have to mention the research gap, what you find so far in your literature. Okay, and what you are giving the value to the literature, you have to also mention. Then you are supposed to write that introduction, or supposed to make it, or suppose that it is completed. So you have the background, that what is research about, like how this study benefits the viewer. Okay, so basically, like, if that would be the clinical study, that how it would benefit the doctors, how it benefit the pharmaceuticals as well. Okay, so your study must be clear enough to make the sense that you are trying to add some value in the literature. Okay, and if you are not trying to add the value in the literature, that would be the garbage, and that would be not of any use. So you have to mention what is known and what is not known, or what is the gap, so that make the introduction complete. Okay, I will also show you the images, also sample as well, a one document file, which I will share it later. After that, you have mentioned the introduction. Within the introduction heading, or you can mention and separately about the literature review, that from where you have searched your literature. And I have also made the video on the literature review, that from where you have to search your articles. So you can mention their name as well. Okay, and how many articles you have extracted, you can also mention here as well. And on what behalf, on what keywords you have extracted, you can also mention them here. Moving forward, there is another point, or another small paragraph of rationale. So, what is rationale? Rationale is about telling the importance of your study, that why the study is important to your target formulation. Okay, so it identify, like in the cases of insomnia here as well. So you are trying to establish a social significance of that problem. Okay, and you are trying to establish if there is any harm or hazardous for the use of the certain population. So you are trying to just establish the importance of your study in the rationale point. Moving forward, there would be the objective heading. So now there must be your 2 to 3 objectives which are very clear to you, and how you are assessing them. You can also mention them in objectives as well. So you are smart enough, like here I mentioned that specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bounded goals. Okay, so you have a roadmap, that you have these objectives, like you are finding the relation between the tinnitus and insomnia. Okay, and how you are supposed to find out if there is any already work done, or you are trying to establish it newly. Okay, you can also mention that part. The fifth point would be about the operational definitions, like what sort of words we have choose in your keyword, in your title, in your research. You have to mention them with the standard definitions as well. Like if you are talking about malaria, then you have to mention the malaria causes, malaria symptoms, malaria management, which for any from any international classification as well. So like here, insomnia is mentioned in the file. So you can choose any of the scale for the insomnia. Like here, insomnia severity index. It is a very famous scale to measure the insomnia. So you can mention them in operational definition as well. So you have to measure all of the parameters of all of the words you are trying to use. You are trying to establish the connections between them. You have to mention them in operational definitions. Moving forward, there would be your true hypothesis and null hypothesis, that if the study by chance move away from that pathway, or if the study to go to your desired pathway, like that might be the hypothesis that the student who use bedtime electroacoustic devices, who use headphones, mobile phones, or use or have increased number of times or have increased frequency of these devices, might be suffer from tinnitus. So that would be your hypothesis. And the null hypothesis is that there is no relation between that. So you have to mention that all. After that, the main heading and the main backbone after the discussion is your materials and method. And this is very extensive, and you have to mention about from where you are doing study, in which population, what is the sample size, how to calculate the sample size, how to run your analysis, and how to make the study feasible for statics. All of these things are mentioned in material methods, and the separate video will be soon uploaded on the channel, in which I just talk about materials and methods of the synopsis writing. Okay, so this section provides the technical information needed to ensure that the study is scientifically sound and replicable. Okay, so that is the part. After that, when you are selected for your method, material methods, when you are highly selective for your study design, sample technique, and how to conduct the study, then it comes to the analysis. And the analysis part is very interesting as well. You can run the analysis on, like I mentioned, SPSS tool, and you can run this test of chi-square independent Fisher test, which would be rather explained in the later videos. Like you can run the analysis, and here I also mentioned the p-value is like, if by chance, if your study has no connection, if you are finding the connection between tinnitus and insomnia, and by chance there is no connection, so there must be an error of less than 5% or 0.005. So that would be your p-value. This plan ensures that the quantitative variables will be present and analyzed rigorously and in a timely manner. Now come to the ethical considerations part, and which would be the last part of your synopsis writing. And it would be like, you have to address that you are working in the you are working in the professional setting, ethical. So address that study protocols would be strict enough that they must be followed, and there must be a strict inclusion and exclusion criteria. Informed consent would be strict, and there that would be clear to the population on which you are trying to do your study. Outline the procedure, tell each and everything what you are trying to study. Like if you are taking the data from the patient's bedside or the file on the patient's bed, you have to mention that. You have to mention about the informed consent, that you are informing the patient that I am trying to do, or we are trying to do study by taking your data, by taking your details. If you are taking the data from the students, we can also mention them. If you are taking the data from hospital record, so you have or you have also mentioned about the priority about the privacy of that data as well. Okay, so you have to make sure that what you are trying to do, you have to tell them all of the things honestly, and how to cope with them, and how to deal with them, how to manage these things as well. You have to also mention. So these considerations ensure the integrity of the study. Okay. And the last point would be about the references. Like you have to mention about the references, what sort of references, what type of references, either APA format or Vancouver text style. you are mentioning, it all depends on the guidelines of ethical review board. Okay, so you have to make sure that you have to mention the reference of every line, every single line in the introduction or any paragraph which is like you have taken from another article. You have to mention the reference of that article in the separate portion of references. Okay, so you can here use another software as Mendeley or Zotero, in which you can easily manage your references as well. Now we are coming to the study as well. So I have chosen this study. I have completed with the team about the sample, about the all of the things about the managerial methods, and we have get the root of this study as well. We make it the study publish. So talking about the introduction, uh, like see, so here are references would be rather from 20 to 35 from or 20 to 40 references are good enough. Okay, so this is the about the introduction. So you are saying that in the like here in the today's fast pace, let it be so. So here in this portion, like from the introduction, that you are saying that first of all you are talking about the journal in today's fast pace. Okay, and you are citing that references as well. Okay, and after that you are coming more specifically telling about like here in the sleep disorder, telling about then what comes to tinnitus. Okay, you are telling about, and after that you are more precising for your study, like according to published statistics and in on this year you are trying to establish, and you are trying to then you are specific to your country, your population, which is actually it is. Okay, and then you are talking about the research gap. So here the author is telling that while there are have been cross-sectional clinical trial conducted in Pakistan related to insomnia, there is still a dearth of research specifically focusing on correlation between insomnia and these things as well. Okay, so what I'm trying to say in the presentation, here is the implementation. One thing more, you can cite this article, you can cite these lines from another point of view as well. Okay, let me show you. Let's say this line. So I selected this line, copy, and I go to the Google, specifically Google Scholar. And I paste this line here. Okay, and then okay, I did it this, and let's say it is a very long sentence. Okay, so I can make it short, and I cut the remaining part as well. And if I can make the search, and there would be the relevant articles. Okay, like these one articles, and you can see that here are the keywords which I mentioned in your sentences. So you can also take them. You can also cite the study from here as well. So this is a very short technique. You can also do from like this one, Chicago style, Harvard style, Vancouver style. Okay, you can do what you want to do. You can that cite the article in your endnote or with text as well. So moving to our study as well. So these are the how to references and how to write the references. After that, you can have to complete it or synopsis, and then you have to send for the ethical review board. Once you have sent for ethical review board, you can get the comments after a couple of days or months. It depends all on the ethical review board. And after discussing in their meeting, they would send you the comments. So you have to answer them accordingly. You have to sit with supervisor and then answer them accordingly, and also make the corrections in your documents as well, which you have sent to them. Okay, and after 2 to 3 revisions, or maybe they send you the comments again, or after 2 to 3 revision, that your IRB approval, and you can proceed with your study as well. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe the channel if you find it helpful. Thank you.